Hello my dear students. I want to say that I was very happy to see you all after a very long time. Your bright, charismatic smile, your enthusiasm to join the meeting was really appreciable. However, some of you could not be able to log in. It could be due to weather condition, the network issues, right? We are in a hilly terrain where the network is very bad, I must admit. I tried a lot to fix it, to get connected, but somehow section A and B, it got delayed by almost by 10 minutes. The network was fluctuating, but nevertheless, those who could not log in, I always tell, don't get depressed, neither feel sad. I heard that some of the students were crying because they could not log in. I didn't feel good about it. So it's that I'll be uploading the video in the YouTube channel. So you can always go back and you can go through the video and you can understand the same thing that is being taught in the Zoom app. Okay, all right. So let's start with it. So today's topic was from the same chapter, that is health and hygiene. And the subtopics that we dealt were spread of communicable diseases, number 2, prevention of communicable diseases, and number 3, vaccination. All these topics are mentioned in page number 72 to 75 of your textbook. Coming to the first slide, if you observe the picture carefully, you can see that the people are wearing masks, isn't it? Yeah. So the topic is related to the picture itself. So communicable diseases can spread through various agents, and we are going to study about these agents only. So number 1, it is through direct contact. Whenever a healthy person will come in contact with an infected person, then it is for sure that the healthy person will catch that infection. And these diseases are also caused if you use the towel or the handkerchief or utensils or any other articles that is being used by an infected person. So the examples of diseases that transmit through direct contact are chickenpox, measles, common cold, mumps, and ringworm. All right. Moving to the second slide. The second agent is air. Air also serves as a medium for transfer of communicable diseases. Whenever an infected person coughs, spits, or they sneeze, then the germs, which are also called as pathogens, they are released out into the air. And when a healthy person breathes in this air, the germs will enter into the body and make them sick. So the examples of diseases that spread through air are common cold, diphtheria, viral fever, flu, and whooping cough, tuberculosis, COVID-19 disease, etc. I think you must have observed that in a few months back, we have really not suffered from common cold, isn't it, like we used to suffer in the past. Can you guess why? Yes, the reason could be that because of this COVID-19 disease, we are frequently washing our hands and the germs also gets washed away. And we are also using face masks, which is keeping away the dust particles from entering into our nose. And right, so we are not suffering from any allergic reactions or common cold. It's good. But however, we are suffering from a very dreadful life-threatening disease, that is COVID-19. The third agent through which communicable disease can also spread is through food and water. Like I always advise you that you all need to always drink clean, filtered and boiled water, particularly in rainy season. Examples of diseases that spreads through food and water are typhoid, cholera, diarrhea, polio and jaundice. So what actually is jaundice? Jaundice is a disease when the liver is an organ which is found inside our body, right? It is also the largest internal organ of our body. So what happens is that when this organ gets infected due to germs or any other reason, then the person becomes pale. That means the hemoglobin that is present in our blood goes down and the person becomes anemic. Getting it? And these diseases can also be transmitted through insects like houseflies, which, if it sits on a contaminated food and then flies and sits on a normal food, then that normal food also get contaminated. And if you consume this contaminated food, for sure you are also going to suffer from diseases. You should also not consume stale food, food cooked with unclean hands, or food not cooked properly. They can also lead to disease. Like I always say, try to avoid food from street side vendors. Do not drink water provided by them because you never know what kind of water they are serving you. For example, there is a disease called as teniasis. Teniasis is a disease actually caused by when people consume improperly cooked meat of animals, particularly beef and pork. So it is advised that you need to properly cook beef or pork for those who consume this kind of products. Coming to number 4, that is insect bites. Insects can also spread communicable diseases, and those insects which carry germs from infected persons, when they bite a normal person, they can also spread diseases. And these insects which carry germs are called as vectors. Vectors, very, very important. So what happens during insect bite? You have to assume that the mosquito is infected. That means it is carrying germs. And if this mosquito then bites a normal person, then the germs from the mosquito will enter into a healthy person and that person becomes infected now. Suppose now a healthy mosquito comes and bites an infected human. Now what will happen? The mosquito will get infected, right? Again, this mosquito will bite another human being and then that human will also become infected, right? Examples of diseases that transmit through insect bite are malaria, dengue, chikungunya and kala azar. You need to keep it in your mind that mosquito does not cause malaria. Mosquito is just carrying the germs that causes malaria. Coming to number 5, animal bites. When an infected animal bites a healthy person, then the germs will also get transferred into the person's body. The examples I can give you is that, I think you have heard about rabies. It's a disease which spreads through dog bite. And another one is plague. Plague is also called as black death because the affected portion of the body becomes black in color. And because of this disease in the past, almost 60% of the Europe population got completely wiped out. So plague is also a disease which spreads through a rat bite. So here the dog and the rat are acting as, you can call it like vectors only. They are not causing the disease, but the germs that are present inside the mouth of these animals. All right. Coming to damaged skin. If your skin is intact, that means there is no cuts, there is no wounds, you will not suffer from blood infections, neither you will not suffer from diseases. However, due to accidents, if your skin gets cut, gets damaged, then through this damaged portion of your skin, the germs will enter into your body and you suffer from various diseases. For example, there is a disease called as tetanus. It's very, very dangerous disease. What happens in this disease that if the person is infected, then the muscles of their body keeps on contracting and they cannot relax their muscles. So the body becomes very stiff and can also lead to what? Infections also, blood infections. Okay. Now, that is why it is advised that Whenever you suffer from any skin cuts, or if an iron nail pierces your body accidentally, if you cut your hand accidentally, then it is always advised that you have to take TT injection. So TT stands for tetanus toxin. So that injection TT is given to counteract the poison that is released by the bacteria that causes tetanus. Okay, so this slide is about prevention of communicable diseases. So very briefly, I'll go about all these agents. So through direct contact. So if a person is suspected to be suffering from a communicable disease, then before he is released into the community, that person has to be quarantined. Like we have heard that people coming from outside states into Sikkim, though they are infected or not, they have to be screened. They have to be kept in a room for certain number of days, and that stage is called as quarantined. Okay, we should not eat food or drink from same glass which the infected person uses, neither use any of the articles used by them. Through air, if you want to prevent yourself from communicable diseases that spreads through air, then you have to always cover your mouth and nose. Always use antiseptics, disinfectants, sanitizers to kill the germs. Like we are protecting ourselves from COVID-19 disease by using hand sanitizers, yes, washing our hands frequently with soap, as well as wearing protective masks. So through food and water, we can adopt these measures, like you have to take proper hygienic methods. Cleanliness should be maintained while cooking food. You should always wash your hand before and after eating. Fruits and vegetables which can be eaten raw has to be washed properly. Water should be boiled before drinking, etc. And if you want to protect ourselves from insect bite which spreads communicable disease, like for example, if you want to control malaria, then you can simply kill the mosquitoes, isn't it? If mosquitoes are not there, people don't suffer from malaria. Yes. And the other ways are like you can use mosquito repellents like mosquito sprays, isn't it? You can use what? Mosquito net also, yes. You can use uh, kerosene oil where there is accumulated water and you can see the larvae of this insect breeding, isn't it? Always wear full sleeves clothes when you go outside of your house. If you want to protect yourself from communicable diseases that can spread through animal bites, is that never irritate or touch animals, because you never know the psychological state of that animal. It can attack anytime, and particularly if they are sick, they get irritated very fast. Okay, through damaged skin, you should always ensure that you have taken the vaccines whenever you are required to do so. Wash and disinfect any cut or wound immediately so that the germs does not get an opportunity to get inside your body. In case if you suspect that you may get tetanus, then you have to go for TT injection immediately. Here I have mentioned some common things that we should take care to protect ourselves from communicable diseases. These are very easy, like we should take bath regularly with soap and water, wear clean clothes, eat balanced and healthy diet. Sunlight, yes, it's a natural disinfectant. Disinfectant means it's a chemical or it could be any other agent that kills the germs that is present on non-living things. While antiseptics is the chemical that is applied on living thing to kill the germs. So disinfectant and antiseptics will have the same function, but disinfectant is used on non-living things and antiseptics is used on living things. Sunlight has a disinfecting property that would always allow plenty of sunlight to enter the house. Another is that garbage should be properly disposed. We should keep our surroundings clean to stop breeding of flies and mosquitoes. Always wash our hands before and after meal. Houses should be well ventilated so that fresh air will enter inside the house. Children suffering from communicable disease should stay at home until they completely recover, because you know that if a student is suspected to be suffering from communicable disease, if he comes to school, then if he enters into the classroom, then many of the students will come in contact with him or her and the disease can spread very rapidly. Never use said needles. Have you heard about a disease called AIDS? Yes, it's a very, very dreadful disease. Yes, and it's caused by a virus, and it can also spread by using contaminated, means infected and used needles. This is the reason why drug abusers are found to be AIDS positive in most of the cases. The reason is because they share the same needle among themselves. Coming to vaccination, it's a very important topic. Vaccination is also one of the way by which we can prevent ourselves from getting affected with fatal diseases. Fatal means that can result in death. So, when a vaccine of a particular disease is given to a healthy person, then that person will develop an ability to fight against that germs or disease. That ability to fight against the disease is called as immunity. Hence, I always say that if you eat proper, balanced food, if you maintain hygienic conditions, then the chances that you recover from any disease will rise. So don't get scared by the injection which you are seeing it on the slide. This is actually meant for saving you from various types of communicable diseases. Now, generally vaccination is done when an individual is 0 to 10 years. I think you must remember, isn't it, that there are still some vaccines which you might require to take in future. There are vaccines available for many diseases like diphtheria, cholera, typhoid, tetanus, polio, mumps, meningitis, measles and hepatitis. But then not all diseases have vaccines. Like AIDS do not have vaccine. And does coronavirus disease has vaccine? No. We are working on it. The human is working on it to develop a vaccine against this coronavirus, but till now the humans have not been successful. This is the reason why the cases are rising day by day, including India. Some common vaccines are BCG, DPT, OPV, DT and MMR. All these vaccines are given to an individual between 0 to 10 years. BCG stands for Bacillus calmette guerin. Bacillus refers to bacteria. Calmette and guerin refers to the name of the person who discovered it. DPT is a triple vaccine which is effective against diphtheria, pertussis and tetanus. OPV stands for oral polio vaccine. And please remember that India is completely free from polio. It has been declared by World Health Organization. DT stands for diphtheria and tetanus. MMR again is a triple vaccine. I forgot to mention. M stands for measles. Again M stands for mumps and R stands for rubella. I hope the session is clear to you, and the assignment which I am giving to you, you need to do it in your same copy where you have done your previous assignments from the same chapter, Health and Hygiene. You need not email me or WhatsApp me. When the school reopens, I'll definitely go through your assignments. Till then, work on it as per the homework schedule given to you. However, the question number 5 is not in your book. That states that recently, few months back in a school, a vaccine was given only to the girls, not to the boys. That is to prevent cervical cancer. You all are required to find out the name of the vaccine that was given to the girl. All right. Stay home and stay safe. My regards to all of you. Thank you.